G'day crew. I did a video on servicing these spinning reels a month or so ago. I was asked if I could do one on servicing an overhead reel. Just a quick service. Now this one's due for a full service, so I'm going to do that in the finish, but I'll just show you a quick service first. So, just a drop of oil in there where the clicker moves. I put one drop in there and another drop in the bottom of it, and then just move it up and down a little bit. That's a little bit looser now than it was. It's due for it's due for a full service, but it's also due for a small quick service as well. And over on this side, same thing as with a spinning reel, just put a drop of oil in where the handle turns and give that a twirl around to work that in. Okay, that there button is a 2-speed gear change on it, so put a little bit of oil around there, maybe a bit more than a drop, and just work that so that it goes down inside. Right, there's a drain hole just up there and a drain hole over there. A couple of holes back here. Put a few drops of oil in all of them, so in this one I generally put 2 or 3 drops of oil. You can't do this with the Shimano reels, only with the Penn reels. Shimano say don't put oil in the drain holes, but Penn service guy says you do with the Penn reels. So it's easier to do when it's off, particularly this one, or you have to stand up and not video it, makes it easier. But yeah, a few drops in each of those drain holes. And then if it's on the reel, just let them line out and give it a bit of a wind just to work the oil in around whatever's in there. Yeah, that ought to do. So this button here, which is your what do they call it? Sunset button. When you're having the fight with your fish, this is your sunset button. You press that when the fight's nearly over to lock your reel up and he's not going to run anymore. So drop of oil in there and just work that in and out. This is your drag, lever drag. This is a lever drag reel. So I generally just put a little bit of oil in there where you can get it in, and just work the lever backwards and forwards. And for a quick service, the only other thing I do is these bolts here that hold the reel on, they get a bit of corrosion on them. I just give them a tiny squirt of WD-40 just to give them a little bit of corrosion protection. Okay, and that's it for a quick service. Now, for a full service, you need to take some of the side plates off. And I'll do that in another video. But while we're on a quick service, if you have a reel with, if you have a rod with rollers on it, just a little drop of oil in there where the roller is on both sides of it, Oh, I can't see where to go here. And there. And if you can, get your finger in and just give that roller, those rollers a little bit of a turn. Bit awkward when you got big fingers. And it gets more awkward as you get closer to the tip because you got less room to get them in. But just go along all of the rollers, a little drop of oil on each side, and then as best you can, give them a turn. Might get my little finger in there maybe. That's about all the turning those rollers are going to get. They're getting too tiny for me to get my finger in there now. That'll just have to work its own way in. Yeah, I can't get into that one either. Okay, and that's just a quick service on the overhead rod and reel. Pretty much the same for a Shimano reel as it is for this pen reel, because this pen reel doesn't have the drain holes. Alright, this is just a quick service on the Shimano reel. It is basically the same as the pen reel. A little bit of oil down there on the ratchet. There's not the same opening on this reel as there is on the other one, but if you work the oil, it'll get in underneath there. Around on the other side, this is your 2-speed button here on this one. A little bit of oil, drop of oil down in there, and a drop of oil up on the release lever there. And then just give that a bit of a press to work it in. The release lever doesn't change by much. If you push it in, it's just got that tiny little bit of movement to release it. And give it another drop of oil down in behind it if you want. That'll work its way down in there. Drop of oil here on the handle. Oops. Same deal here on the sunset button. A little drop of oil, a couple of drops of oil, so that it works its way down inside there. And I just put a drop of oil around here and then work the drag. Work the drag lever. And then finally, just a little squirt of CRC or WD-40 just all around these bolts to hold the reel on so that they don't corrode too much. The WD-40 here is just a little bit of corrosion protection. And that's it for that one. And I've got one more overhead reel, and that is a star drag. Very similar. This one's star drag instead of lever drag. But a little bit of oil around. It's also a Shimano reel, of course. A little bit of oil around the clicker and work it backwards and forwards so that oil gets down into it a little bit. And over here we put a bit of drop of oil here on the handle area and spin that around a little bit to work it in. Now I'll put a little bit of oil here just around the star drag area and give the handle a turn. I've got the reel disengaged because the drag is off at the moment. Okay, on these reels, this lever just turns the drag on or off. Oops. Now if you turn it off and you don't want to get a bird's nest, make sure you got that clicker on. Otherwise it really does just free spool out and you end up with a big bird's nest. So again, all you do here, drop of oil in there and just work that backwards and forwards a little bit. And a squirt of WD-40 or your favourite pressurised lubricant on those bolts. Again, that's just a corrosion protection. And that's it for your basic service on these reels.
Until next time, good fishing.